Always, put this money towards DKC Reverse Boss Order. We have $20 from Lavitz. Simply says, put it towards my DK. Which is now, we are over halfway there. We have $11,345.03 out of $20,000 to see Donkey Kong Country Reverse Boss Order. Get those donations in. It is coming up soon, right after Magical Pop-In, Disney's Aladdin, and Wario's Woods, so you do not have a lot of time. Get that money in so you can see one of the most ridiculous categories of Donkey Kong ever. We will be right back, but first we're going to play a brief ad from Twitch. We have an anonymous $150 donation. First time donator, but have been watching for the past couple of years. With work starting the new year with tons to do, it's nice to have this going on in the background to make me relax a bit. GLHF. We have $30 from Bad Scribbler. Let's see this reverse boss order. Agreed. We have $25 from Elusive Jigsaw. Donkey Kong Reverse Boss Order. I need to see this. Yes, you do. Let's get those donations in. We're getting ever closer. Come on, we got to get 20,000. I'm sure if we polled the people in the audience right here in this room right now, you guys want to see Donkey Kong Reverse Boss Order, don't you? You can be louder than that. Try again. Come on. You want to see Donkey Kong Reverse Boss Order, yes? So you don't want to disappoint all these people. All right, while you're getting your Donkey Kong donations in, here is Scent with Magical Poppin'.
All right, it looks like we're live.
Oh, yep. All right, well, hello everyone. I'm Scent. On the couch with me I have Kirk Q and Engie, who's a very good runner of this game. Kirk did a task a while ago.
Part of the task.
got part of it done. He's working on it. We'll get there eventually. Anyway, most of what you need to know about Magical Poppin' we can explain as we go. So if we're ready, if you want to just give us a countdown, and we'll get on with it.
Go.
All right, everyone, so this is Magical Poppin'. It is a run and jump platformer released for the Super Famicom near the end of the console's life cycle. The story of the game is pretty simple. You are an unnamed princess, some penguins stole your magical gem or something. Go kill some penguins. That's about it.
Okay, so this game has a lot of movement. You can slash in upwards, downwards, or forwards direction. You can jump. You can use a bunch of special abilities across the top of the screen, which we'll get into in a little bit. There's a damage boost Scent just did. The main movement mechanic is jumping and sliding. Sliding is about 7% faster. Every level has a mid-boss and a boss. Some levels have 2 mid-bosses. We call this guy Furniture Wizard.
He's got furniture. I mean, we are not a creative community. I'm just going to put that out there. Our names are terrible.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'd like to direct everyone's attention to the wonderful parallax scrolling effect on this screen. Don't worry, you'll never see it again. This game might be a little unfinished, just a little. I believe the studio that actually developed it went bankrupt like a week after releasing it, which unfortunately makes the cartridges very, very hard to find and kind of prohibitively expensive.
So the first 5 levels all have extra power-ups that you have to get. The power-ups will go in the top of the screen, and you can see the cost in stars at the top of the screen. So right now he's got the little bomb that takes 4 stars to throw. He also has a laser that he can shoot for 2, and you can see his stars in the top right of the screen. Every special also has like a super special you can use by hitting the select button, which costs, let's say, 8 to 12 stars, depending on which special you're using. Those are mostly used in boss fights.
Speaking of boss fights, here is the first boss, Kirk, if you want to explain the principles behind it. As I miss. Don't worry about that.
All right, so the first few bosses in the game will all take a full skull of damage from super specials. And you want to kill every boss at the bottom of the screen if possible. So when Cent plinked the ground there with his sword, he was actually like incrementing a counter in the room that affects the boss's attack cycle. So by plinking the ground, he forced the boss to dive down and then lasered him at the bottom of the screen. And then the game will not open the final door until the boss leaves the bottom of the screen. So it saves like 3 to 5 seconds by putting the boss down there. And you'll see throughout the run that most of the bosses are killed at the bottom of the screen when possible. This level actually has a really huge skip in it. There's a mid-boss in this that's kind of like a plant thing that we're not going to see at all.
Oops. Well, this is awkward.
Right.
I messed up the manipulation for that enemy that lets me damage boost up here, so I have to get a pixel-perfect, frame-perfect jump.
So that jump is a sword stab into the ground followed by a jump. So you plink off the ground and then you jump at the same time and get a little higher than normal. The jump itself is on a 3-frame timer. So that jump is so perfect that you can only get it once every 3 times essentially, because you have to align with the frame counter properly. This power-up's the grapple, which lets you grapple onto those circular hooks.
Yeah, the grapple in this game is honestly really weird if you've ever played any other game with a grapple. It just feels so strange, so delayed, I think I would say.
Yeah, it's hard to control, and there's certain grapples in the game that are on a 3-frame window. Most of them are 6, but a few of them you have to get good height and get the 3-frame grapple.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because I missed that grapple, I have to wait for the platform cycle. Besides being cute, I believe that does actually save just a little bit of time, because if you're not in a sword swing animation and you fall too far, you do that little bonk.
That he just did right there.
Yeah, and you can't actually transition screens during parts of that bonk because you're off the ground too far.
We have an anonymous $100 donation that says, let Cent put this towards whatever he wants.
Let's get that Donkey Kong Country reverse boss order going because you guys really need to see how insane that is. So this is the boss of stage 2. We call him Pina Colodout, even though he is clearly a durian. Again, we are not a creative community. Please make fun of our names.
I think Sen invented these all himself, actually.
I won't deny this.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So that's a little bit of an older strat for that boss, but I just really wanted to do it so I could show off the backwards laser. If you slash before using a super move, you can buffer an opposite directional input and turn around while you do it, which serves absolutely no purpose. It just looks cool.
All right, good thing we made that platform cycle or we would have been sitting here a little while.
We have an anonymous $1,000 donation.
Wow.
They left no comment, but we are very, very thankful for your generosity.
All right, Kirk, so do you want to explain how ridiculously intricate this boss is?
I'll go into a few things.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. So right now, Sen's using the grapple because it costs 0 stars and it gives him a ranged attack. He wants to conserve stars right now. He's also trying to get this boss so he will die on the bottom of the screen, so a lot of the manipulation in this fight is to cause that. So there he goes. This is also, yeah, that's a glitchy spot for no reason. There's very few spots like that in the game. That might be the only one. That boss, you can actually crash the game if you play it right, and it's possible there's like a wrong warp to the end of the game there if you line up the code right or something.
We have successfully wrong warped, but only back to the title screen, so not the most useful thing. Also, normally you damage boost here, but I'm actually going to skip a death abuse we normally do in the run, because it only saves about 6 seconds, and game overing would be very bad.
So this boss, you have to kill all 4 corners of him, so Sent used the super special. And then, again, he's gonna kill him low. There is a like 1 frame cycle in that boss where if you kill him while he's dropping a teardrop, it will soft lock the game and you will be stuck in this room.
Yeah, it's like the frame the tear falls out of his eye. It's considered an active projectile, but it's also like still on his sprite. So when it falls off screen with the boss, the game has no idea what to do and it just soft locks. It's happened in a couple of blind races. I think the only soft lock in the game, as far as I know.
So this is the freeze power-up. It's used in like 2 or 3 spots total. It's not a good move, but it's necessary to beat the game.
It's, I mean, it's pretty much Shotgun Ice from Mega Man X, but infinitely less useful. So again, in a run, you would have a full heart here, and you just jump into the fire, which does a full heart of damage, and you would respawn basically on the other side of the pit. But as you can see, that really doesn't save a ton of time, and extra lives are actually pretty much impossible to get in this game. You don't pick up extra lives, you pick up a third of an extra life, and the animation for doing so is about 20 seconds long.
That spot's just mean. The platform drags you across and the guy just shoots you off and you bounce back and fall off.
Yeah, a lot of people who are playing the game blind or for the first time get hit by that. And there's really not a lot you can do about it.
We have $200 from J0, who simply says, "Hey, Sent, do the thing."
I always do, Jay. I always do.
So we're getting into the statue head boss, which is a very like intricately coded boss for how boring the fight is, I guess. So he's got 4 heads and each of them have 2 health. And he only likes to stop in certain corners and like on the top and things like that. He also only stops after he's bounced off a certain number of walls sometimes. So this setup is swinging the camera back and forth in order to manipulate the boss to stop each time. And there's a specific part of logic in the boss's code. Okay, we got it.
He went the wrong way there, but yeah, that worked out.
So this is like one of the few bosses you cannot kill at the bottom of the screen.
Excuse me. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Finishing that thought. Basically, the boss will stop at the bottom of the screen for any attack except on his last health. So the game is like hard-coded to make you watch him fall to the bottom of the screen. It's not very nice.
It's really unfortunate because if we could kill him at the bottom of the screen, I think that would actually save something like 15 seconds. It's a ridiculous amount of time wasted.
We have $27.32 from Milnium. Hey, Sent and NG. Milnium here, Poppin' owns.
Papa Mouse, yeah.
Shoutouts to Mill, another good runner of this game.
Yeah, definitely. Good friend, good runner. Sorry you couldn't be here, dude. All right, well, that's not the attack I wanted him to use. That's it.
Yeah, so this is just a refight of the stage 1 boss, except this time there's water scrolling you across the screen.
Yeah, you do want to manipulate him a little differently, just because of how the stage is set up. But other than that, he still takes a full skull of damage, so you just kind of plow into him.
Alright, so I gotta get a little ahead of this next part here. So, normally in this level there's a fire power-up, and we're actually gonna skip the fire power-up. So, another runner, Cool Kid, well, I guess he blind raced with us a long time ago, and after the blind race he found out that you could lock the camera in this game by hitting left every 16 frames. So up ahead here, Scent is going to hit left every 16 frames and go across a platform in order to skip the fire power-up.
Yeah, hopefully I get this first try, but even if I don't, this saves like 50 seconds or something ridiculous. Nah.
Oh, that was really
That
close.
was really close, yeah. Falling too far also resets the camera.
There we go.
Yeah. Third try is honestly not bad. Again, I think you get like 9 attempts or something ridiculous before it actually starts losing time over just doing the intended strat. Now, unfortunately, I did have to use an extra special in that last fight because, well, bad things happen, marathon luck. So I'm gonna try and use grapple a little bit more here to get some hits, save some stars. But this guy's really simple. I mean, he jumps around and doesn't do anything.
Yeah, just to kind of wrap up how that last skip worked. So you saw when Scent got a little too far to the right, the ice blocks loaded, and those ice blocks are covering the door. Normally you need the fire power up to melt the ice blocks, but if you keep the camera to the left, the ice blocks just don't load.
That's actually the only use of the fire power-up in the entire game. Not that it matters, because when you get a power-up, the game just sets a flag that gives you all previous power-ups.
Yeah, so we will get fire later by getting the last power up.
That's actually the damage I really didn't want to take. Okay, that's... Well, that's unfortunate. Where does that actually put me? Oh. Yeah, that's a really bad death, honestly.
It's okay for now, but it might be a problem later.
Well, the big problem is the cake I get in this room is now gone. But I just won't take damage, though.
Yeah.
No, not actually a problem.
This game's really brutal. Everything. Oh gosh.
Oof, okay, I'm just gonna have to activate the switch here. So yeah, what the game wants you to do here is hit that switch and then climb up these platforms. And just for marathon safety, I'm gonna go ahead and get this cake. You can very easily get through these balls without taking damage, but you know.
A lot of the hard to dodge things in this game deal a full heart, and the less hard to dodge things deal half a heart. So it's like you can only get hit 3 times. Most of the time.
Yeah, we used to pick up a 4th heart, but honestly, you know, it's really not worth it. Took about 9 seconds, and we thought we needed it for the longest time to do some damage boosts in the last stage, but we were wrong.
Yeah, I think the first 4 levels have an extra heart in them, so you can get up to like 7 hearts.
The first 5 do.
Oh, the 5th one does as well.
Yeah, the 5th one does. The 5th one's actually probably one of the faster ones. If the one in stage 1 wasn't so convenient. So here we're just incrementing that counter again by taking damage to manipulate him to always show up on the right, and then hit him with a bomb right as he pops up.
So most of the route is set up such that after stage 4 you get back up to 99 stars because you're going to start spending a lot of stars here. Every level end gives you 20 stars if I recall. And then there's stars in boxes throughout the level.
Yeah, 20 stars for finishing each stage. And then the big star power-ups you'll see me pick up sometimes are worth 10. And I'm just shooting these bazooka penguins real quick, because if you don't, they will lag the game really, really hard.
This level's actually quite non-linear. It's not clear where you have to go, and there's actually some like difficult rooms that are just total dead ends.
Yeah, there's a lot of paths that the game tries to trick you into taking, and realistically, you don't want to take any of them. So here's the other place we do a death abuse in the run. This one saves significantly more time, and in all honesty, it's pretty hard to actually get out of that room unscathed. So I am gonna take this one. And you also do get stars back when you die, so it's perfectly fine for me to spend stars here on our new ability, the ball.
It's a shame you get the ball at the end of the run, because it's really fast.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best parts about this game is you can just go fast. Roll on things. Oh. Didn't push it quite far enough.
So you need the roll power up there to get up that wall to fight this boss. You can actually get in this room without the roll power up, but you can't get to the boss.
Oop. Yeah, oh, sorry, that is actually a soft lock in this game. If you use the super pogo we were talking about earlier to get in this room without the roll, there is no way to get to this boss. All you can do is die, and, game over.
I thought you could leave.
No, the door locks.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. You just have to game over and restart the stage.
We have $10 from Blasphemous Roar. Hey, Cent, was sad that the magical pop-in blind on Mystery Funhouse was a no-go due to my internet dying, so I couldn't wait for this run to make up for it. Remember, a mystery ghost loves you. Money goes to that insane reverse boss order, because how even?
It is a mystery. So Sent's just gonna make this guy jump in the corner.
Yeah, this is not the smartest boss.
Some of these bosses are not very strong. Most of them can't hit you after you've hit them, so like their entire like attack mechanism just becomes intangible and can't hit you. So if you just sit in their face and like swing your sword, they will die pretty easily. But if they get away from you, they can cause some problems.
We have an anonymous $50 donation. I'm loving the magical poppin' run. My favorite runs are these more obscure retro titles, since it lets me know about all the games I missed playing as a child. Good luck on the run, good luck on the marathon.
Yeah, this is definitely a game I'm not sure many people got to play during their childhood, and that's a shame, because in all honesty, it's really well made and a lot of fun. You should definitely try it out if you ever get the chance. Aside from select being an important button, it controls really well. X is not bound to anything, by the way, just for reference.
So this boss, you have to hit the head to open up his stomach and then hit his stomach. So Sent's using the laser to kind of do both of those at once.
And then at the end there, you want to let him take a step and hit him with hit him after he takes the step, because that'll manipulate him to go into the dive attack again, and From there, you can kill him a little lower than normal, because his sprite is actually very tall.
Yeah, when his head's up, you would have to wait for his entire head to get off the screen. Whereas if he leans his head down, he dies faster.
Oops.
All right, this level is very hard. You can think this is like a giant maze, and you can think of it as like top, middle, and bottom paths for most of it, and you can kind of switch between them as you go through the level. So Sun's going through the bottom path right now because it's much faster.
Yeah, it's I really wanted the bat damage boost there. So the bats only deal a half heart of damage to you, whereas those spikes deal a full heart, kind of like we were mentioning earlier with the things you want to avoid. Generally do more damage to you, so I had to play the second half of that a little safe. We're gonna manipulate health and a health drop in this room, and I feel really stupid because that's all you have to do to get it. We've been doing so many silly things instead of just doing that. Just jump and slash right as you get in the room.
If you fall down that pit in that room, you transition onto the bottom track. I think we're in the middle track right now, and the bottom track for the second section is very difficult.
Okay. Oof. Getting hit by that laser with only one health is going to make things very scary because now I cannot roll through this section safely. Normally we would just take a damage boost here and roll through all three of those enemies.
Yeah, we want to get back up to 1.5 hearts so we can play a little more risky again.
Yeah, I'd hopefully like to finish it. That'd be good.
All right.
It is completely possible to skip that, but again, marathon safety. We're just gonna go ahead and grab it.
The game's pretty generous about putting a lot of cakes where you need them to get your health back.
It is, you know, all in all, it's a pretty nice game. I would not call it particularly hard. This boss is definitely a little weird if you're not used to it. You can't hurt this boss at all until it decides to attack you. So if you're playing the game for the first time, a lot of people will chase it around the room forever. Even if you do manage to get an attack into its like hitbox, he'll put up a shield and it'll show like, hey, he's not taking damage. You just have to wait for him to move back and throw a fireball before you're allowed to hit him. Something interesting though is we're hitting him with the grapple for two reasons. One, because obviously it gives us a little more range. We can hit him from farther away and run away, because if you get too close, he'll, you know, dash away from you. But also, it actually makes him vulnerable faster again. If you hit him with your sword, he'll do an extra cycle in the air before you can hit him. Again, I'm just gonna play this room a little safe. It can be a little dangerous if you get off cycle on some of these.
Yeah, I think everything you just walk past deals a full heart.
Yeah, all of those deal a full heart of damage. So now here's where the game is honestly a little bit mean. This guy looks a lot like the previous boss, and he'll actually act like the previous boss if you let him. If you wait long enough, he'll move back and throw a fireball, and you can hit him like normal. But if you just run at him, he'll become vulnerable immediately. So, a lot of times you'll see people playing this game for the first time and just have no idea what to do to this guy. But in the speedrun, obviously, pretty simple. Walk at him, hit him in the back, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. One other thing we didn't mention yet, there's actually 2 other optional bosses in this level. So if you go the wrong way through the level, you'll fight more bosses. And they're totally unique.
One's actually a repeat, but one is completely unique.
The hidden Dracula boss.
Yeah, Dracula is in this game, believe it or not. And I missed the very precise roll there. If you get it at just the right spot, you can crawl up that wall and get up there a cycle faster. Unfortunately, it didn't hit the cycle.
Getting towards the end of the level here.
And not too much left in the level, and by proxy in the game. This is the final level. We do have a couple of scary screens coming up before we can get there. So first off, we have to refight this boss. And once again, he doesn't know what to do. Oh, whoops. I forgot this. So this boss, for whatever reason, you don't actually have to manipulate twice. He's just ready to dive at you immediately. The green one you do have to manipulate, or he won't dive at you. It's very strange. But that's fine. And you just want to wait a second before you do your first roll in that room, or you'll get stuck under one of the platforms, and that can be very bad. And we're on to the final boss already.
Phase 1 of the final.
Phase 1. So I got to give Engi here. Engi, was this you or Vlak who figured out how easy it is to manipulate him?
Yeah, you have to do that and the pogo games.
Yeah.
You can manipulate and get those fireballs every time.
He's got 2 attacks. He can do this ice slash thing, and he can do a fireball, kind of reminiscent of Dracula. And you can just keep doing this, and he'll do his bad ice pattern, the one that's not really threatening, and the fireball, which is completely non-threatening, and it's not even a boss fight. And now we move on to his second form and the final boss of the game. And here's where the stream just dies horribly because this background is atrocious.
All right, so Sent's gonna do a bunch of timer-dependent things to keep track of when the boss is gonna open again. So he's doing things like ducking on the ground and hiding in his hat, jumping a bunch of times. So those all take set amount of times, and if you count out how many you do, you can know when the boss is gonna open back up. It's not really manipulation, it's more so just keeping track of time.
Ooh, that was close. There are a few things that can hit him, but we use bombs because they have the most active frames.
And a lot of the reason for this is because you can get 2 hits in on certain cycles. If you miss time it, you'll only get 1. All right, so when that last skull goes away, that's going to be time, so 3 more hits here.
And time. Real quick, just to kind of explain the final boss. I have a really hard time talking during that fight. Basically, the way he works is he switches between orange and purple mode. In purple mode, he fires lasers and shoots curtains of lightning down at you, which both lag the game pretty substantially. In orange mode, he shoots fireballs that home in on you and can actually home in on you from off screen. So we really don't want that to happen because that will mess up all of your timing. However, he only actually does those attacks if you're directly under him. So by hitting him with the bomb for the first hit with the timing, and then by hitting him with the grapple so we can stay out of his reach, he basically never gets to attack after the first hit. So yeah, that was Magical Poppin'. Thank you guys for having me. Kirk, Engi, thank you so much for being on my couch. And yeah, guys, I don't know how close we are for Donkey Kong, but get those donations in because you're not going to believe how ridiculously broken that game is. You know what? I'll take it for a marathon. Not the worst thing ever.